My name is Carmen, I'm 32 years old, and this is the story of how my family learned that appearances can be deceiving. From a young age, I was always different from my sister, Lucia. While she dreamed of princess dresses and elegant parties, I spent hours reading business books and learning about investments. Our parents, especially Mom, never understood my ways. "Why can't you be more like your sister?" was my mother's constant question. "Look at you, always in plain clothes, no makeup. How do you expect to find a good husband?" Truth is, I never cared much about my mom's opinion. I graduated with honors in business administration and got a job as a waitress at a high-end cafe, or so my family thought. The reality was very different. 5 years ago, while serving coffee at that restaurant, I met Don Ricardo Mendoza, one of the country's most prominent entrepreneurs. He didn't know I knew who he was. "Miss," he said that day, "I've noticed you read investment books during your breaks." "Yes, sir," I replied. "I'm passionate about business." What followed was a 2-hour conversation about corporate strategies. At the end, he offered me a job with an unusual condition. "I need someone to run my companies from the shadows," he explained. "Someone people underestimate, who can observe without being noticed. Are you interested?" That's how my double life began. To the world, I was still the cafe waitress, but in reality, I was running a business empire worth millions. Don Ricardo became my mentor, and I became his secret right hand. "Your greatest advantage is that no one expects anything from you," he often said. "That gives you power few possess." My family, of course, remained embarrassed. "You're a waitress," my mom would ask at every family gathering. "Your cousin Maria is already a bank manager, and look at Lucia, about to marry an entrepreneur." Oh yes, Lucia. My sister had met Alejandro, the son of a prominent businessman, at a high society party. They fell in love and were now planning an extravagant wedding. "It'll be the event of the year," my mom bragged. "The Mendozas are one of the richest families in the country." I froze when I heard that name, Mendoza. The groom's father was Ricardo Mendoza. "You know him from the cafe where you work, right?" Lucia asked mockingly. If only she knew. The wedding planning turned into a media circus. My mom and Lucia appeared in social magazines, boasting about the family merger. I, of course, was the black sheep they tried to keep hidden. One day, I received the wedding invitation, or rather, an ultimatum. "Listen," Lucia said during a family dinner, "you can come to the wedding, but with conditions. You'll sit at the farthest table, say you're a distant cousin, and please don't mention you're a waitress." My dad, as usual, stayed silent. My mom nodded. "We don't want to embarrass the Mendozas," she added. "And if I don't agree to those conditions," I asked. "Then it's better you don't come," Lucia replied coldly. "This is my chance to enter high society. I won't let you ruin it." That night, while reviewing contracts in my secret office on the top floor of the Mendoza building, I got a call from Don Ricardo. "Carmen, you're coming to my son's wedding, right?" "I don't know Don Ricardo. My family is complicated." "Ah, yes, your sister's the bride. Interesting coincidence. I didn't know." Of course he knew. "I know everything about you. That's why I chose you. Come to the wedding, Carmen. It's time the world meets the real director of the Mendoza Group." But no buts. "It's time." I hung up and stared out the window at the lit-up city. For years, I'd played this role, hiding in the shadows. Was I really ready to step into the light? My phone buzzed again, a text from Lucia. "By the way, little sister, if you come to the wedding, don't go near the main table. The Mendozas are very important people, and I don't want you bothering them with your simplicity." I smiled as I typed my reply. "Don't worry, Lucia. I promise it'll be an unforgettable wedding." The wedding day arrived with all the splendor Lucia had dreamed of. The city's most exclusive venue was decorated with thousands of white flowers and crystals sparkling under massive chandeliers. I arrived early, wearing a simple but elegant black dress. As expected, my mom nearly had a heart attack when she saw me at the entrance. "Carmen, I told you to sit at the back table. Why are you here so early?" "I work here, remember," I replied with an innocent smile. Don Ricardo specifically asked me to oversee some details. "Don Ricardo," my mom stammered. "The groom's father. Don't tell me you're bothering him at the cafe." "Oh, don't worry, Mom. Everything's under control." I left her there, confused, and headed to the private office I'd set up in the venue. I needed to review important documents before the ceremony. While working, I heard Lucia's voice in the hallway. "This day has to be perfect. Where's the event coordinator?" "Miss," a voice replied, "the executive director is overseeing everything personally." "Executive director? What executive director?" I stood, opened the door, and faced her. "Me, Lucia." My sister's jaw dropped. "You, what are you doing here? I told you to sit in the back." Actually, Don Ricardo interrupted, appearing suddenly. "Carmen is exactly where she belongs, isn't she, my dear director?" Lucia's face cycled through every color of the rainbow. "Director? Oh, you didn't tell them?" Don Ricardo asked with feigned surprise. "Carmen has been running all my companies for the past 5 years. She's the mastermind behind the Mendoza Group's success." Lucia swayed, grabbing the wall for support. Just then, my mom appeared. "What's going on here?" "Lucia, you should be getting ready." "Madam," Don Ricardo smiled, "I was just congratulating you on having such a brilliant daughter." Carmen is my right hand, the true director of all my companies. My mom turned pale, but she's a waitress. A perfect cover, don't you think? I said calmly. It let me observe, learn, and make decisions without anyone questioning my motives. But why didn't you ever say anything? Lucia whispered. Would you have believed me? Would you have stopped belittling me? Besides, I learned from Don Ricardo that real power doesn't need to be flaunted. The wedding, my mom murmured, all those contracts, the arrangements. Yes, everything went through my desk, I said, including the prenuptial agreement Alejandro insisted on keeping secret. Lucia stiffened. What prenuptial agreement? Don Ricardo stepped in smoothly. I think you two have a lot to discuss. Carmen, could you explain the agreement's terms to your sister? I need to check some details with the judge. When we were alone, Lucia looked at me with a mix of shock and pleading. Carmen, I'm so sorry. Sit down, sister. We have an hour before the ceremony, and there's a lot you need to know about your future husband and his financial activities. As Lucia listened to the details of the prenuptial agreement and Alejandro's true intentions, tears began to ruin her expensive makeup. You mean he just wants access to Dad's shares? Yes, I said gently. Alejandro's been racking up debts. He needs a respectable family's backing to maintain his image. Don Ricardo knows, which is why he insisted on the prenup. But he said he loved me. Maybe he does in his own way, but love doesn't pay off $2 million in gambling debts. My mom, who'd been unusually quiet, finally spoke. All this time while we belittled you, you were protecting us. It's my job, I said simply. Don Ricardo taught me that real power lies in information and how you use it. Lucia stood abruptly. I need to talk to Alejandro. Wait, I stopped her. There's a better way to handle this. The next 2 hours were a whirlwind. As guests arrived, expecting the wedding of the year, we came to an agreement. There would be no wedding, but also no public scandal. Alejandro's debts would be paid in exchange for his resignation from any role in the family businesses. And one more thing, I added, looking straight at my now ex-brother-in-law. My father's company shares are off limits to you, forever. When the guests were informed the wedding was canceled, there was the expected murmur of surprise and speculation, but no one learned the true story, and it would stay that way. That night, as I dined with my family in the privacy of my penthouse apartment, when I'd never shown them, my dad finally broke his characteristic silence. I always knew you were special, he said softly. Different, but special. Why didn't you ever say so? Because your mother, we were so caught up in appearances that we forgot to see what really matters. My mom, who'd been admiring the city view, turned to me with tears in her eyes. Forgive me, daughter. All this time thinking you needed our help when you were the one protecting us. Lucia, who'd been unusually quiet, finally smiled. You know, I always envied your freedom. While I was trying to fit into high society, you built your own path. You still can, I replied. In fact, I have a proposal for you. I explained a new project I was developing, a line of luxury boutiques that needed someone with her eye for style and social connections. You'd give me a job after how I treated you. I'm not offering you a job, a 50-50 partnership, but you'll have to start from the bottom and learn every aspect of the business like I did. She smiled. Exactly. Don Ricardo retired last year, leaving me officially in charge of the Mendoza Group. Lucia now runs our boutique chain, which has expanded to 3 countries. Turns out, when she's not trying to impress high society, she's an excellent entrepreneur. My parents finally understood that success isn't measured by appearances. Mom even jokes about how she used to worry about my waitressing job. And me, I don't need to hide anymore, but I keep my favorite table at that cafe where it all began. Sometimes, while sipping my morning coffee, I watch the customers and smile, wondering how many other waitresses might be running empires from the shadows. After all, the best stories are the ones no one expects.